Hey everybody, Rex Bear Leak Project. How the heck are you? Would you believe me if I told you there was a patent for thought transmission units that send modulated electromagnetic wave beams to human receivers via the brain to influence thoughts and actions without an electronic receiver? Because your brain's the receiver. Hello. Oh yeah. This is a patent from Germany. Let me show it to you real quick. Would you just look at it? Boom. What is that? Well, thought transmission unit sends modulated electromagnetic wave beams to human receiver to influence thoughts and actions without electronic receiver. So, if you just take a quick look at the abstract, it's a thought transmission unit sending modulated electromagnetic wave beams over long distances to a human receiver to influence the thoughts, actions, or perceptions of the organism with or without their consent, but without them requiring an electronic receiver. Welcome to wireless mind control. And real quick, I would like to say thank you very much to my friends over at PatriotSolarBank.com. Speaking of mind reading, I know you were reading my mind saying, Rex, or you were sending, all right, I was reading your mind because you were wondering if these specials were still going on at PatriotSolarBank.com, and they are still available at PatriotSolarBank.com. Look at the size of the phone. Look at the size of the battery charger here. It's a nice device that is powered by the sun, and it's got two USB ports right here that you can plug in two different devices at once. PatriotSolarBank.com, code LeakProject15. Okay, now let's go back to the invention, shall we? Now, this is a classification A61M21-00, which puts it in the other devices or methods to cause a change in the state of consciousness, devices for producing or ending sleep by mechanical, optical, or acoustical means. You know, like hypnosis as an example. And conversational hypnosis is abundant. Some people use the influence of neurolinguistic programming naturally. Some people have studied it. Some people both. And what's interesting is if we take a look at the way that this works, and I'd like to do that, this shows the actual application events. And what's interesting here is if you scroll down to this year, just about, 2 weeks ago? Or wait a second. The application status was withdrawn today. Look at that. That's today. Geez, it's so exciting when time flies in the garage. But I want to scroll down here and look at the description and some of the claims. So the background of the invention, field of the invention, relates to long-range telepathy and long-range mind reading. Bang, bang. These are the images from the patent showing different ways of transferring these frequencies to manipulate the thoughts of subject. Well, you can see here targeted via truck mounting. Oh, you got your latest SUV? Just put it right on the top there. Oh yeah, check it out. Now, what do we have here? I have no idea what that actually means. It's some type of frequency modulator. Here's something that just put it on a tripod. It looks like you're looking through a telescope. But no, Bob, what you're really doing is influencing the brain. Now I'm going to get into the specifications in a moment. Let's look at some other images here. Oh, from a building. And it could go from one building through other buildings to the target. Wow, that's pretty interesting. Oh, helicopter, aerial opportunities. We need to get them that way. Put it on the Big Bird. Hello, look at this. Cell phone tower, antenna systems. Shows it even going through a wall to the subject's brain. And they don't even need a chip because their brain is the actual receiver. And then here, showing going through walls into a group of individuals at once, all because they love us so much. Now, those are just some of the images. Now let's take a look more at the data. The invention relates to long-range telepathy and long-range mind reading Applications include the extension of the traditional means of communication, supporting public appearance of important personalities, important negotiations, the shipment of important hazard information in emergency situations, the active avoidance of significant risks, the study of criminals who support brain research. Here are limitations of traditional methods of information transmission, such as mobile phone, radio, and television, overcome. Characteristics of the prior art. Scroll down. In modern media, such as radio and television, an electronic device is required which converts the electromagnetic radiation into a discernible, audible, or visual signal, and individuals are not to supply IA personalized with your information. Also, for example, the effect of audibility of certain radar pulses. Hello, radar pulses. That sounds exciting. Observations in World War II is known the direct acoustic perceptibility, audibility of modulated microwave energy or irradiation in the head. You can see some different studies there, different years, the names of the studies, etc. Now, the use of acoustic signals to the subliminal, the acoustic perceptions upon exposure to pulsed microwave radiation is based under most experimental conditions selected so far on the generation of thermoelastic pressure waves in the inner ear. The human corpuscle has a resonance frequency of about 80 megahertz at 1.8 meters tall. So, resonance frequency of 80 megahertz at 1.8 meters tall. The individuality, somewhat different electromagnetic resonant frequencies of the human head are around 400 megahertz in adults and 700 megahertz in infants. Due to the skin effect, the depth of penetration of electromagnetic radiation into the organism is frequency dependent. For example, an irradiation is performed on the head, the absorption at 2.5 gigahertz frequency, mainly in the outer 1-2 centimeters of the brain, whereas 900 megahertz more inside the brain. Lin, 1989. Also known are electromagnetic weapons, which passes as observed by means of millimeter wave telescopes or microwave detectors over long distances or by non-metallic walls. People can be stunned. Or, yeah, you can see that. Also known is the subliminal stimulation with conventional acoustic techniques. For example, modulated rhythms at 1.7 to 3.5 hertz serve to promote sleepiness. Abnormal states of consciousness can be carried rhythms in the range of 3.5 to 56 hertz, promote 7 hertz and 28th. The normal rhythm of the human brain is 7 to 14 hertz and 14 to 28 hertz in the case of arousal or anxiety. The idea of telepathy and mind reading, but ordinarily considered impractical fantasies, and none of the mentioned systems alone, long-range telepathy or even mind reading, can be implemented efficiently, for example, over a distance of several kilometers. People who claim to send thoughts over long distances without technical assistance or to receive esoteric could lead no proof of effectiveness so far. I disagree with that claim, but this is the claim. Now remember, folks, these are claims in the patent. Doesn't mean it's real. It could be swamp gas from Uranus. And none of us want that.
Although, swamp gas from Uranus versus mind control beams.
But you could argue swamp gas from Uranus is like a mind control beam, because it will have an effect. You're probably going to leave if somebody crop dusts around you, if you have the opportunity. They just controlled your mind to leave the area. Anyway, so going on, also documented by numerous utopian movies with episodes of far-reaching telepathy or mind reading, that there is so far this dream that's not viable solution with good efficiency. Object of the invention. Now here's where it gets interesting. The object of the invention is to expand the possibilities of modern media in the form of long-range telepathy. The part of the recipient, no electronic aids such as radio, TV, or mobile phones needed.
Wow.
That's why I'm listening to music right now. Because the music that I'm listening to and the tinfoil cap with 5G blocker that's available at tinfoilcap.co.
You will not assimilate me.
You know why? Do you know why? I'll tell you why. Because
my mind is not for rent to any god or government, always hopeful yet discontent. I know changes aren't permanent.
Hello! All right, let's get into more of this. Detailed description of the invention. The invention has for its objects to provide certain desired message transmissions without being bound by the limitations of commonly used electronic means. According to the invention, the object, I'm not going to edit this out, so deal with it. Or don't. The object is achieved by the use of far-reaching thought transmission. The transmission of thought is based on radio. In contrast to the conventional radio, however, the electromagnetic beam, idea beam, is injected directly into the body of the recipient, for example, in the head, the cerebral cortex, the inner ear, the auditory nerve, or optic nerve, depending on special introduced into the electromagnetic beam signals, for example, by means of a amplitude modulation. This coupling causes a change of the intention idea at the receiver. In general, the change of mind of the recipient is only statistically effective. It only increases the probability of certain thoughts on intended manner or reduced. In individual cases, however, the change can be determined. The transmission of thought suitable in some applications for combination with observations using the audibility using microwave energy modulated millimeter wave cameras and microwave-based voice communications, but can also be operated independently. Wonderful. And remember, you know why. You know why. It's because they love you dearly. They love you so much. For example, in a simple embodiment of a thought transmission device, the operator of the device, the observer, speaks to the transmitted thoughts into a microphone. The electrical signal of the microphone is converted by means of an electronic circuit into a train of pulses, like square pulses of 100 microseconds, duration of 200 microsecond distances, where appropriate pulse sequences are computer stored and retrieved from there as needed. So they're sending microwave beams, pulsed microwave data into your brain. Oh my gosh. This is like Blade Runner. Oh wait, I'm listening to Blade Runner right now. Woo! Oh, this is good. We are in a science fiction movie right now. And they're telling you about it. They're like, oh, by the way, did you know? Check out this patent. Oh, yeah. We can influence thoughts from miles away. We can influence thoughts from towers, from aerial birds, portable vehicles. I mean, I just got to take a breath for a second because I was talking about this 10 years ago, over 10 years ago. You probably were too. And now, here it is. Well, yeah, here's the data. It's like, you were right. I know. Reminds me of a couple years ago when I went to my old work downtown, San Antonio. And I bumped into one of my friends I used to work with. And he's like, you remember all that stuff you used to talk about? I'm like, yeah. He's like, it's coming true. And I'm like, I know. It's kind of spooky, but exciting at the same time. How about a satellite? Ooh. I just had a really deep thought. How many thousands of satellites have been launched into extremely low Earth orbit that are running in the frequencies up in the higher gigahertz range, X band, Ka band, thousands, and you can look up the FCC fact sheets on that. I've shared them with you. And there's several that have happened since then, launches of satellites. This is deep, folks. Thank goodness they love us so much, and it's all for our protection. Could you imagine if they didn't love us? Thank you for being here. Hit the subscribe, hit the bell, be well. This is all just a live action role-playing session, and be the change you want to see.